A man walks into an airport. Yellow t-shirt, small suitcase, calm face. He looks like every other tourist heading home. 4 minutes later, that same man explodes out of the airport doors. He's sprinting, full speed, pure panic. He vaults a 6-foot barbed wire fence with his bare hands. He tears across a field of sunflowers, and then he disappears into the forest beyond. He leaves behind his suitcase, his wallet, his phone, his passport, everything. That footage is real. Millions of people have watched it, and nobody, not his family, not German police, not Bulgarian investigators, not the entire internet, can explain what he was running from. His name was Lars Mittank, and he's never been found. Before we get into what happened at that airport, and trust me, we're going deep into that footage, you need to know who Lars Mittank actually was, because this wasn't some reckless guy with a troubled past. This wasn't someone the world expected to vanish. Lars was 28 years old, born February 9th, 1986. He grew up in Marne, a small, quiet town in northern Germany, about an hour northwest of Hamburg, population 5,000 people, the kind of town where nothing ever happens. He had a stable job at Wilhelmshaven, Germany's only deep-water port. He had a long-term girlfriend. He supported his football club, Werder Bremen, with the kind of loyalty only Germans understand. He was close with his mother, Sandra, the kind of son who actually calls home. And in June 2014, for the first time in his life, he left Germany. First international trip ever. He packed his bags, got on a plane with 5 of his closest friends, and flew to Golden Sands, Bulgaria, a beach resort on the Black Sea coast. Think Ibiza, but cheaper. Sun, sand, clubs, cheap drinks, World Cup season, football in every bar. For 5 days, everything was perfect. And then came day 6. July 5th, 2 days before they're supposed to fly home. Lars and his friends are at a bar. The World Cup is on. Germany is playing. Emotions are running high the way only football emotions can. Lars gets into an argument with another group of German tourists over football. Over what exactly? Nobody can say for sure. Words were exchanged. Things escalated. Later that night, Lars splits from his friends. He doesn't come back that night. The next morning, he shows up at the hotel, and he tells his friends something that shifts the entire energy of the trip. He says he was beaten, not by one guy, by 4 men, hired, he claimed, by the people he argued with at the bar. He had a jaw injury, and a ruptured eardrum doesn't just hurt. It affects your balance, your spatial awareness, your sense of where you are in space. And Lars Mittank, already injured, already shaken, is now about to be left alone in a foreign country for the first time in his life. The group's flight is July 7th, and the doctor tells Lars, "You cannot fly. The pressure change in the cabin could seriously damage your ear further." Lars insists his friends don't wait for him. "Go home. I'll catch the next flight tomorrow. I'm fine." His friends offer to stay. He says no. He's fine. Go. And so they do. Lars checks into the Hotel Color Varna, a budget hotel near the airport, one night. Then he flies home tomorrow. Simple. The doctor prescribes him Cefprozil, an antibiotic, and in rare cases, acute psychosis. Hold that thought, because that night at the Hotel Color Varna, the CCTV cameras caught something that nobody in that hotel could explain. Lars, alone in his room, begins pacing the hallways. He peers out of windows. He checks the stairwells. At 1 a.m., he leaves the hotel, just walks out into the night. He comes back an hour later, and then he hides inside the elevator, just standing there, doors closing, watching. What was he watching for? That same night, Lars calls his mother. Sandra Mittank picks up the phone, and her son is whispering, not talking, whispering. He tells her, "People are trying to rob me. People are trying to kill me." He tells her to cancel all his credit cards immediately. He asks about his medication. Which medication? What dose? Is it safe? Sandra tries to calm him down. She tells him he's tired, he's in pain, he needs to sleep. She tells him tomorrow he'll be home. But Lars doesn't sound like someone who's just tired. He sounds like someone who genuinely believes he is about to die. The next morning, July 8th, Lars calls again, 5 a.m. before sunrise. He tells Sandra he made it to the airport safely, but his voice, she said later, was still full of fear. She could hear it. That specific fear in a voice you've known your whole life. The kind of fear that makes a mother's stomach drop. Their call ends. Lars says he's going to see the airport doctor for a quick check before boarding. That was the last time Sandra Mittank ever spoke to her son. July 8, 2014, Varna International Airport. Morning. Lars Mittank, yellow t-shirt, small carry-on bag, walks into the airport calmly. The CCTV catches him. He looks normal, a little tired, but normal. He goes to the airport medical center. He sits down with the doctor, Dr. Kostov. Dr. Kostov examines him, tells him the same thing as before. The eardrum hasn't healed enough. He should not fly today. And Lars, who just wants to go home, sits there processing this news, and then the door opens. A construction worker walks into the clinic. Just a regular guy, maybe there to fix something, maybe there by mistake. Nothing threatening about him at all. Lars Mittank looks at this man, and something breaks. He stands up. He looks at the doctor. He says, "I don't want to die here." And he runs, not walks, not hurries, runs, full sprint, out of the clinic, down the airport corridor, through the departure hall, out the front door. He drops his bag at the door, doesn't look back. The CCTV outside catches him, sprinting across the parking lot, arms pumping, running like his life depends on it. He hits the perimeter fence, 6 feet tall, barbed wire on top. He goes over it like it's nothing. He runs across the road, into a field of sunflowers, into the tree line beyond. And the cameras lose him. That was the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank ever. Bulgarian authorities search the area immediately. Dogs, ground teams, they cover the forest, the fields, the roads beyond. Nothing.
German police get involved. Interpol gets involved. His family hires a private investigator.
His mother, Sandra, goes to Bulgaria herself. She holds press conferences. She pleads on Bulgarian television.
Over the years, there are sightings. Dozens of them. Romania, a Bulgarian village, hitchhiking on a highway.
Every single one goes cold. No body has ever been found. No belongings have surfaced. No verified sighting has ever been confirmed. And here's the detail that makes investigators scratch.
Lars had no money, no credit cards, no phone, no passport, no ID. A 28-year-old man in a foreign country where he doesn't speak the language.
How does someone like that survive? How does someone like that disappear so completely? Unless he didn't survive. Or unless someone was helping him. Okay, this is where we go deep, because every theory about Lars Mittank pulls you in a different direction, and none of them, fully close the case. Theory 1, psychotic break from the medication. Cefprozil, the antibiotic Lars was prescribed, has a documented rare side effect, acute psychosis.
Combine that with a head injury, sleep deprivation, alcohol, being alone in a foreign country for the first time.
And suddenly, Lars Mittank isn't running from real men. He's running from something only he can see.
The construction worker who walked into that clinic, completely innocent. But to Lars, he was a threat.
Where did he go after the forest? Theory 2. The fight was more than a fight. What if Lars was telling the truth? What if there really were people after him? Golden Sands, Bulgaria, in 2014, was not a place known for its safety. Organized crime in Bulgarian tourist areas was a documented reality. Trafficking, drug networks, people who prey on disoriented foreign tourists. What if the men who beat Lars weren't random? What if they wanted something from him? What if they found him at that airport? What if Lars wasn't running because he was crazy? What if Lars was running because he was right? The problem with this theory, if someone took Lars, why is there no ransom, no body, no evidence of a crime at all? Theory 3. He survived. He's still out there. There are people, even today, who believe Lars Mittank is alive, living off the grid, maybe suffering from ongoing mental illness, maybe homeless somewhere in Eastern Europe. There have been sightings in Romania, in rural Bulgaria villages, in Serbia. A Reddit thread from 2019 with thousands of upvotes claimed someone recognized Lars in a photo of unidentified homeless men in Romania. German authorities investigated. It went nowhere. But here's why this theory is hard to fully dismiss. The CCTV footage. Watch it carefully, and I mean carefully, because something in that footage bothers investigators who've studied it for years. When Lars is sprinting out of the airport, he doesn't look back. Not once. Someone running from a real physical threat, they look back. It's instinct. Someone running from something in their own mind, they just run. Theory 4. He drowned in the canal. Beyond the airport fence, past the sunflower field, there is an irrigation canal. Deep, fast-moving, surrounded by thick vegetation. This is the theory Bulgarian authorities privately lean toward. A disoriented, panicking man, possibly hallucinating, running full speed in the dark. The canal is right there. But here's the problem. They searched that canal extensively. Nothing was found, and bodies in canals, even months later, they surface. They always surface. Lars never did. Here's something that makes this case unlike almost any other missing persons case in history.
That CCTV footage went viral. Not a little viral. Billions of views viral. He has been called the most famous missing person on YouTube.
Entire Reddit communities dedicated to solving his case. Amateur investigators from Germany, the US, Japan, all spending their free hours rewatching 45 seconds of grainy airport footage. People map the airport. They calculate his running speed. They trace the exact path he would have taken to the canal. They cross-reference the timestamps.
One Reddit user spent 3 months tracking down every farmer who owned land near the airport.
Another user in Germany claims to have identified the construction worker from the clinic, tracked him down, and says he has no connection to Lars whatsoever.
The internet has cared about Lars Mittank for over a decade and still has no answer.
And that, right there, is what makes this case so uniquely haunting. It's unsolvable in public, in plain sight, with footage, with witnesses, with a full timeline, and it still has no answer. I want to take a moment to talk about Sandra Mittank, because behind every viral video, behind every Reddit thread, behind every true crime YouTube thumbnail, there is a mother. Sandra has never stopped looking for her son. She flew to Bulgaria. She hired investigators. She gave interviews on German television, on Bulgarian news. To every podcast and journalist who asked, she has said publicly, the hardest part isn't the fear that he's dead. The hardest part is not knowing. Because not knowing means you cannot grieve. You cannot close the chapter. You cannot accept. Every year, Lars's case gets another round of internet attention. A new video goes viral. A new theory surfaces. And Sandra's phone rings again. With every ring, there's a fraction of a second where she thinks maybe this time, maybe this call, and then it isn't. In her last public interview, she said one thing that I haven't been able to shake. She said, in hindsight, I should have asked him more questions, but his phone was running out of battery, and that was our last conversation. A dying battery.
This case has everything. Footage, witnesses, a clear timeline. A known starting point. We know exactly where he went into that forest.
We know the exact time, down to the second, that the cameras lost him. We know what he was wearing. We know the last words he said, and we still have nothing. Which means one of two things is true. Either Lars Mittank is dead somewhere in that Bulgarian countryside, and we simply haven't found him yet.
11 years later, or, and this is the one that keeps me up, Lars Mittank is alive, somewhere, in some form, living a life completely disconnected from everything he was, with without his name, without his history, without his mother, and maybe, just maybe, he chooses to stay gone. The footage is still up. Go watch it after this video. Watch his face as he walks into that airport. Calm, normal, just a guy in a yellow shirt. And then watch what happens 4 minutes later and ask yourself, what does a person have to see or feel or believe to run like that? To leave everything behind, to vault a barbed wire fence and disappear into a forest and never come back. If you have any information about Lars Mittank, his family is still searching. Links are in the description. If this case got into your head, subscribe, because next week I'm covering a case where the suspect was caught on camera, identified by name, and still was never arrested. Stay curious, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't run toward the forest.